Woo wee,
Hey,
sweet baby Jesus. It is Wine Down Wednesday. What's going on? You know what though? Y'all would think I would be like plumb tired right now. Because I think I should be plumb tired and taking a nap. But sister can't do that because tonight we're gonna be hitting them up. We're gonna be talking about it. We're gonna be letting you all know what we feel and think. But anyway, you know it is Wind Down Wednesday, and
yes.
we are back and we are live and in living color. Y'all know who I am. I'm Sandy. I'm sitting here with my girl.
Hey, it's Shanice. Another day, another week. Wind down Wednesday. We are in the middle of this thing. So,
Yes, God is good. God has
just
been good.
excited.
And He's gonna continue to
Yes,
be good.
yes. I'm
That's
happy. I'm
all I
excited.
know.
I'm joyful.
Me too, girl. I am joyful. I'm thankful, joyful, happy, whatever the case may be. Because guess what, sis? Somebody didn't wake up this morning to enjoy this beautiful day and enjoy friends and family. It just didn't happen.
Sure.
So I'm thankful. But in the meantime, how your week been? How have your week been?
It has been great. I cannot complain. It's going pretty fast. It's
She out and about in the city. She's somewhere rolling around doing what she do. And it is. The week is going fast. That's what I told the kids
first
today.
week. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed. That never happens. But the weather has been really great, and it
Look,
so yeah, I've been
you
great.
know,
No complaints.
you cutting out. So y'all in like a bad area right now. I don't know where yet, but you might be in Africa or Egypt or Italy or Paris, wherever y'all at. Y'all might be in the foothills of Kentucky or Alabama. Yeah, you're cutting out, fading out, like it's all
So
shipping.
sorry.
Hey, I get it. That's what happened when you can't stay at home. That's what I like about either the two of us. We don't be at home all the time. We're the kind of get out and we got to do things because we on the outside. We like being on the outside. Your child is doing some things. My baby grown, but I don't like being inside. I've been outside all day. But anyway,
Right.
I heard
How your week?
you.
How your week been?
It's another week. I'm grateful and thankful for another week. I'm a little beat down, but it's all good. God is good, and there's no complaints. It's still, you know, it's still good. I mean, it's just good. But my week has been wonderful. Um, Meeting new people, seeing new faces, enjoying what I do right now. But I've always enjoyed what I do. But it's been good. It's just been really, really, really good. All my family is doing well thus far. So no complaints at all. None whatsoever. So let's keep it moving and do what it do. And it is Wind Down Wednesday. So guess what, people? We here to talk about it. And what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about a couple of things. Um, so what do you all think? Let's get this one on out the way. School is back in session. We need you all to be diligent and be aware of what's going on around you. The bad thing about it is bomb threats and stuff are going to start taking. That's so stupid to me. That is so dumb to me. A kid would call in a bomb threat so they can be out of school, or a kid would call in a bomb threat because they got mad at somebody, or I mean, it's just crazy how things happen. So school is back in session and traffic is everywhere. And I don't like it. And I can't stand it. But
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. That traffic is outrageous, especially around 3-ish. It's a wrap.
toe up from the flow up. And then they got freaking construction everywhere. Every time you turn around, it's an orange barrel. And then they bother me with this darn roundabout. Everywhere you go, it's a roundabout. We're going a roundabout. It's like I'm on the merry-go-round in my car, going a roundabout on the merry-go-round. I'm like, it's just ridiculous.
I hate them things. I think they're pointless and stupid, and somebody's gonna get in an accident because people do not pay attention. And I'm sorry, for Cincinnati, sometimes we got some terrible drivers. So that roundabout thing is really, it irks my soul.
Mine too. It gets on my last nerves. And I think, the one that's by my house, it's already had like probably 5 accidents, and the thing is like so many orange barrels, and people don't know where they're going or what they're doing. It's like I got to go the opposite way just not to go in the roundabout. But then don't let me have to go to the grocery store. It's like I got to go to the roundabout. That's like, can't win, can't win, can't win. But anyway, the more to the story, people, is to be safe when you're driving. Pay attention in those roundabouts and pay attention to the kids going back to school because they are crossing the street. And that was another thing. They was talking about how the pedestrians that have gotten hit, the pedestrians, the numbers have gone up. So it's like, what's going on? It's like, why you can't see these people crossing the street? What's the deal? Can you a huge body, big body, little body, pay attention to what's going on. You're hitting folks left and right. So more foot traffic is out there now since school back in session too.
That between that and the bus drivers, I just feel like I think something dangerous, in my opinion, is more in the
Gotcha. Go, sis.
I was gonna say if we could pull down, if there's a way that the bus can pull to turn around so that the kids can get on the bus on the same side as the bus instead of crossing the street, I think that's just so dangerous.
It is. It's extremely dangerous. And it's like, how do we, like you said, they shouldn't be able to cross over. But if it's a 2-lane road, they'll be able to cross. If it's a 4-lane, then they have to let them out on one side. But if it's a 2-lane, they let them out and the kids can cross over just on the 2-lane. I know it's crazy, but I don't think kids should cross at all when it's a lot of traffic or especially during school hours, before and after school. It's just crazy with that. So I think they just need to be extremely careful when they are traveling and crossing the streets. It's not enough people to watch the kids as they are crossing the street. So in the meantime, please be extremely careful, because keep your eyes on the road, get off your phone, stay off your phone when these kids are crossing and you see buses. Just be diligent, because it is school season and foot traffic is big. So on that note, we're going to get down to the nitty gritty. We're going to give kudos to Serena Williams for winning her first round in the U.S. Open. She plays tonight, probably at 7 or 9 o'clock or something like that. I'm not sure what time she plays, but she plays tonight, Wednesday. So she'll be back out there on the court at 40 years old, trying to make it happen, doing what it do, because she is the GOAT. She is the GOAT. I don't care what nobody says. She is the GOAT. So with that being said, kudos to Serena on winning Monday night. She'll be back tonight playing. So be on the lookout and watch out for her. She's on ESPN or something, and then you got the women's basketball that's going on. The NBA, WNBA playoffs is happening. So it's a lot going on TV. Probably the Reds and their losing season. The Bengals are coming up. So it's a lot of things going on. Since we're talking about sports.
Can you slip that in? Okay, in there.
I'm just saying. You can't help it. Can't help it. They can't help it. They trying. They trying. I mean, I don't know if they're going to make it as far, but, that's another topic for another day. I ain't no Bengal fan. Kudos to the city of Cincinnati, for winning, for getting to the Super Bowl, but it didn't do nothing for the city. As far as I'm concerned, it still ain't did nothing for the city. It's still the same. Ain't nothing happened with the Bengals going to the Super Bowl other than saying they went to the Super Bowl, because ain't nothing in this city changed about the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Period. It didn't help us at all. None, nothing, not at all, zero. But anyway, kudos to them for making it. If they would have won, they still wouldn't have done nothing to the city. We'd have had a big old parade and it'd have been over by now. We still wouldn't have been. It just, nothing happens when you win the Super Bowl. I mean, so whoop-de-doo. Mentioning sports, let's get to the nitty-gritty about these ruthless and raggedy parents. Because what I don't understand is, why is it that in Little League, when you are trying to teach your children because that's the time that they learn. They learn how to play the game. They learn the plays of the game. It's supposed to be discipline. When they're playing any sports, it's supposed to be some type of controlled discipline, or because they're teaching them and training them what to do and how to do it. Plays over here, plays over there. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. You got to run this route. You got to, make sure that you're in the right place at the right time so you can catch the ball or so you can make a tackle, whatever the case may be. But the fact is, why is it that Little League or Pee Wee ball has become so ratchet with parents that they're out there betting on the games, they're out there fighting, and they're jumping on buses, beating up or threatening kids. They're beating referees and umpires. What is it about Little League games that has gotten so out of control with these parents? What is it? What is it? Help me out. What is it and why? Why is it? Because what are you gaining from that? What are you gaining from gambling at a game? What are you gaining from fighting at a game? Or it's getting so heated that you want to jump on the referees, or you want to jump on another parent that ain't got nothing to do with anything but out there cheering and rooting for their own child. What is the problem with the Little League right now? What is happening? Why is it happening like it's happening? That's what I want to know.
It's terrible. It's we want to thank all our viewers for tuning in. And those who tune in every week, we have viewers globally, but it's a problem everywhere. I think it's really sad because we're supposed to be allowing these kids to just have fun, learn the game, and that be it. But a lot of times I feel like the parents, they ruin it. They take it too personal. They take it too serious, and they don't set an example for the kid that's involved. It's embarrassing. It's a turnoff, etc. The kids should be able to come in, learn the game, have fun, and eventually, as they get older, they get a lot better because they're learning the game. The more they play, the more they get an experience, the more they learn the game. And so the better they'll get, but the 5-year-olds and 6-year-olds, I'm seeing, the little kids, the parents are fighting or upset their kid is not in. It's really, it's going to be outrageous. And if I'm sure it's allowed a lot of parents to second guess whether they want their kid to even participate, because they don't want the kids seeing, violence, especially at those young ages like that from grown adults. It's just really unreal.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous. And brother knows, because I know he be at those games and he sees what's going on and he hears what's going on. But it is supposed to be a learning stage with these kids. They're out there at 3, 4, 5 years old trying to learn the game. But instead of them learning the game, they can't even play it because the attention now has gone to the freaking parking lot because there's a big old huge fight. It's a whole lot of uproar. Maybe not even in the parking lot. It has gotten so bad that the parents will come to the freaking sideline of where the children are playing the game and make such a ruckus. It's embarrassing. And the whole thing about it is it's embarrassing to our culture, because the only people that I know and see that do that are Black folks. Let's just keep it 100. Let's just keep it real. It happens in the urban areas, and it's just not Cincinnati. It happens everywhere in different cities and states. But the question is, why are parents so raggedy, so ruthless, so hood, so ghetto, so ratchet, when all you got to do is get a folding chair and sit on the sideline and watch your baby play ball? Why can't we go somewhere and watch the game and watch our babies play without fighting? What you think, brother? Hold on. Oh, you got to unmute yourself, brother.
Yep. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. So I think it stems from a lot of things. Right? So you got coaches, right? I played little league football, and it was rarely an incident where a parent would be involved because the coaches had control of the sideline. Coaches had control of the parents to say, hey, y'all stay up in the stands. We got your kids, and the parents had trust in the coaches. I know when I played, parents had trust in the coaches that the coaches were doing everything that they could to teach their kid the game. Whether it's the fundamentals of getting into a 3-point stance or how to tackle, where to go to on a running play, where to go to on a pass play. I learned majority of what I needed to learn in football at Little League. So it was rare. So I think what has happened is a lot of these organizations have allowed the streets to come in and donate uniforms. And so these street guys are taking advantage of that situation. Hey, I paid for this, so I should be able to do this. And I was one day and done. I went out there one day and I was done that night because at practice you got the parents on the sideline at practice yelling at the coaches, my son can't play that position, put him at this position. He's a running back, he's a wide receiver. He don't play no line. It's like at practice. And so my uncle's having, hey, we got this. So now she gonna go get her baby daddy, and he want to argue with it. So it was just like the parents have lost trust in these coaches, and then you got the violence part on top of it. There was a story about an ex-NFL player's brother got into a fight at a little league game and shot the other coach. Shot the other coach. That was 40 years old. And so the violence of these games and these little league players, the coaches are on pressure. We're gambling on this game, so they better win. And so now it's not about teaching the players or teaching these little kids how to play sports. It's about winning. So if I lose, I know I'm gonna have to see Lil Ray down the street because I owe him $10,000 or $5,000 or whatever that is. So I'm gonna play these players. So these players is not going. So it's like Little League football has gotten out of control, out of hand, especially with these parents.
I totally agree. And the unfortunate thing is it is about money. They have not turned it into a teaching or a learning game anymore. It's all about the money. And it's all about how the kid look. It's like here's in the parking lots and the games are packed with adults. Packed with adults. You can't even get into the freaking. You go to Withrow does it, Walnut Hills do it. They allow them to play on their fields. The parking lots are full. And not only that, it's supposed to be a learning and a teaching process. Why are you out there smoking weed? The music is so loud. Then you drinking, which is why this fight start. Because yes, alcohol causes you to think differently. Yeah, because they don't know how to just sip one drink and let it go. They want to drink the whole freaking bottle of Hennessy and Crown Royal and Tito's, and whatever else they drinking. And beer, and it's all of that mixed with weed. And then you getting angry because you got $1,000. I bet you my son will make this tackle. I bet you my son will make this touchdown. What are you teaching the children? Because it is supposed to be a learning process for kids. And the bad thing about it is most of these babies want to play in the NFL. They want to play in the NFL because they pump them up so much. They really do. They pump them up like they can be, and they can be anything they want to be, but they're not going to be anything if your parents are still fighting on the sideline and getting mad at you because you tear a kid down at 5 years old. By the time he's 10, he don't want to play no more. He don't want to do nothing with football because between 5 and 10, you done took him through pure hell. Which is terrible. And you and I have seen it, and we see it, and we watch it, and the dynamics of it is just horrible. And then the unfortunate piece, the mama can't say nothing. The mama ain't got nothing to say, because if she say something, the daddy might hit her in the mouth too in front of the kid, which is crazy. So all around, Little League football has just gotten totally out of control, not just citywide, nationwide, all over the place. Little League is out of control. The question is, how can we get the control back?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's crazy because culturally, these coaches have to be held accountable. These coaches have to say, "Hey, you know, I'm, it's okay. We don't need you to fund the t-shirts or the jerseys, because we know the backlash, the backfire that can happen with that. Having fundraisers and actually getting back to the quality of showing these kids, how you hard work, how you get out on the sidelines and maybe sell lemonade, how you get out here and try to sell your team, things to build the money to be able to get the jerseys, to be able to get the uniforms. We have to get back to that instead of these shortcuts, because adults showing these children shortcuts, it's not going to help them. It's not going to further them, and it's going to just continue to be worse. It's bad now, but when Junior ain't 6 years old now and he's 15 and he's 17, or maybe he in the league if he get that far. You know what I mean? Now, I'm expecting this, I'm expecting that, bet on this, bet on that. Like, we have to get back to the basic elements of, kids learning, having fun, and playing a sport. Everybody is not going to go to the NBA. Everybody's not going to go to the NFL. And that's okay, but the coaches they have a lot of the control and say on, yes, I'm going to let this dope boy fund everything, or no. So we have to get back to sacrificing. And yeah, it's gonna be harder for you to get what you need for your team, but it's gonna be plenty of people out there to see how hard you're working, and they'll be willing to donate, or they'll be willing, to stand behind you to help in any way we can. We got to get back to that instead of everything being a shortcut, everything being I don't want to do the work. It's that we're not really teaching our kids anything. We're not really teaching them fundamentals. We're not teaching them how to be a team, etc.
And you're right, we're not. What's up, AJ? Thanks for tuning in. And I'm sure AJ has seen a lot of this go on too in the neighborhood, of Madisonville, with with these kids and what's happening right around the corner, right around the park, or what, at the park. So you're right, sis. They got to get back to the fundamentals of teaching these kids what to do and how to do it, and stop letting everybody else come in with the money, dictate how you control the team and how you running the team, because we know money talk and bull crap walks. We know that. And if you got the money for these little league teams, and if you got big dollars for the little league, you pretty much gonna have the say so, because you're footing the bill. You're paying for pretty much everything. It's you even the kids, you done bought everything, and you matching what the kids got on. I mean, it's like, it's crazy, because they allow these kids to get out of control, and then they can't get, the parents to get out of control, the coaches do, and then they can't get it back. They lose the control over these parents, and they can't get it back. So you're right. We got to start from scratch. We got to start at the beginning. We can't even start in the middle. But this is another thing. Even if you have fundraisers, you can't even trust the folks, the ones that's having the fundraiser to put the money towards the kids. There has been so many coaches, parents, or whatever having these fundraisers supposedly for the team, and they stealing the money. They are taking the money themselves. So how are they going to put the money up towards the team when they stealing it themselves, which is another issue. So there's a whole lot of things that goes hand in hand when these kids are playing little league football, because there is no way nobody should die and lose their life over little league football. There is no way somebody should be injured from any kind of bullet or knife or fist or bats, because that has happened too, over a little league football game. It is ridiculous. These kids are supposed to be learning how to play the game. Instead, they're learning how to fight and how to survive because they're not learning the X's and O's that's on the football field, which is crazy to me. But that's the unfortunate piece. That's totally unfortunate and it's bad. It shouldn't happen, but it happens. And we see it over and over and over again. So where do you teach your children? How do you teach your child? That Little League thing is crazy. Little League football is just totally out of control. And I can't fathom having a grandson at the age of 5, just say if I had one, putting him on a freaking football team and see that go down. Don't you know I pull my baby off that team? Ain't no way I would have, and there's no way my niece or my nephew or my grandson at the age of 5 would be playing on a Little League team and it's out of control with the parents because they're fighting in the parking lot. I don't want my grandchild to see that. I wouldn't, even if I had a kid, I wouldn't want them to be involved in that. That's just ridiculous to me. So I don't know if we're going to ever change it because it's our culture. That's the unfortunate piece. It's our culture because we're the only ones that's doing it. Ain't nobody else doing that.
You're seeing people, every culture except for ours, signing their kids up. They having fun. They teaching their kid, hey, you win some, you lose some. But us, we feel like, we got to win every single game. Our child only is the, it's it, and not giving other kids other opportunities. It's just a lot of unfairness. It is a lot of immaturity with the adults. And so, it's understandable why a lot of parents aren't putting their kids into some of these sports, like the AAUs and things of that sort. Some of these sports are regulated, where you can't act a fool like that. They get you up out of there. But some of them, like, it's just neighborhood stuff. It's out of control.
Yeah.
I know for me, growing up, my coaches were an extension of my dad, right? And your coaches, like I still remember my Little League coaches, their names. I still talk to one of them, man. Shout out to Coach Rob. And I think like what Janice was saying, getting back to fundamentals, like the old school way of it takes a village. And I can remember acting up in school, and Coach Bruce knew about it because my dad told Coach Bruce. So I got to football practice. I had to run extra laps. I had to do extra push-ups. I had to do extra sit-ups. I had to do extra stuff. And then Coach Bruce talking to me, listen, man, you're going to play football. You got to have the grades first. You got to go to school. You got to have the grades. If you ain't got the grades, you're not going to play. So with the Little League now, it's more about, like I was saying, it's more about winning. These coaches, I call them Madden coaches. They play Madden real good. They play the video game real good and think they can go out here and coach. And it's more than that. Coaching is more than showing a kid how to score a touchdown. Being a coach is about, showing a kid, giving them life lessons. Okay, you missed that tackle. Hold your head up. Make the next one. This is what you did wrong. You got to move your feet instead of moving your hips. Instead of, I've seen coaches yell. I'm talking about yell to the point where they cussing a kid out because they made a mistake. Yep. And it's like, at that age, no, that's why you're called a coach, because you're supposed to coach them up. Okay, this is what you did wrong. Let me show you. Let me help you. Good job. Encourage. When they start making millions and millions of dollars, then they can get yelled at.
Exactly. But then they ain't going to get yelled at then because they where they want to be. Right. You ain't going to yell at them because they're grown now.
Right. So coaching, like being at Little League games, and it's like there's no coaching. Hearing coaches calling other little players little MFers. Go sit the F down, because and grabbing them by their face mask, and it's like that is not coaching. And so the coach is doing that, and you got the parents yelling from the stands because they high and they drunk, and then they arguing with the other. It's the Little League is not what it used to be at all.
Nope. It is horrible. It's terrible. And like you said, why would you pull on a kid's face mask or
Yep.
mask or helmet, to get their attention? There are many ways that you can get a child's attention other than grabbing on him, grabbing on his shoulder pads, grabbing on his helmet or hitting him on his head or cursing him out. There are other ways that you can get your point through and they'll get the job done. But I'm telling you, trust me when I tell you, I'm glad I ain't got no kid that's on my team. Because if they do that to my baby, I'm coming out the stands to the coach and to anybody else, because that's not gonna happen to mine.
For sure.
We going through that right now. We got a 9th grader. She played basketball. And I'm always watching the coach, right? If I see my daughter make a mistake, I say, okay, how's the coach going to handle this, right? They'll take her out and they'll pull her to the side and they'll talk to her. They'll coach her up. But I've been to some games where she's played and watched the coach on the other team just tear into, like, I'm like, oh my God, you ain't talking to my daughter like that, because I don't talk to my daughter like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
You not. You ain't gonna talk to my baby girl like that.
Nope. And then, hold me back, because that might be one of them times that parent come out the stand, me, the parent coming out the stand. Who you talking to like that? Best to call the police. Because I have seen kids, even your daughter's age, older kids playing basketball and doing things, and the parents didn't like the way the ref was calling the game. So they come out the stands and punch the ref.
Wow.
Just
Wow.
Just come out the stands and just punch the ref.
Wow.
So of course you and I know you do that. It's a melee.
Yeah.
People coming from everywhere. I don't know why, but they're coming out of the stands. The teams are. It's just crazy. Why would you do that in front of a kid?
Then that can be that's a coaching moment. That's again it goes back to the coach. And you talking to the kids and you telling the kids, hey, there are going to be some games where we play an all-white school and we don't get the calls that we normally get, or we get calls against us and we know we didn't foul. But that's part of life. And then my coach Bruce, I always tell us, when you play this game, you're going to play 2 different types of games. You're going to play the regular way, and then it's going to be a way they force you to play.
Yep. Because
of the color of your skin. I'll never forget my coach telling us that. And so when I got to high school, I seen referees, give after the game, they going over to the other team and shaking, talking to like, wow. And so as a kid, I learned that. And then as I became an adult, I said, okay, let me teach my daughter this, baby girl. When you play an all-white school, when you play that hard defense, they're gonna call fouls on you because they don't like it.
Yep.
And if I didn't tell my child that, if I had a coach that didn't show me that, I'll be that parent that jumped down and grabbed the referee by his stripes.
Crazy.
The integrity of the coaches have changed, and the integrity of the refs have changed. It's a whole core piece. Like, it's just not the parents. It's just not the coach. It's everyone that's involved, because even sometimes the referees, they aren't calling, the correct plays. They're, they don't maybe been given a little something on the side or a pep.
Absolutely.
We go out and we drink on Saturdays, and so I know this kid, so I'm gonna, there's just so many different factors.
That factor into
so many different factors that go into the game being changed when it comes to these kids really being authentically learning, playing, learning teamwork, having fun, understanding defeat, understanding wins. It has changed all around, and we have to get back to the beginning where everything was fair.
Yep. My coach used to tell me, I don't care if we ever win a game, but I want you to learn something. He would say, I want you to have fun and I want you to learn something. Winning will come, but I want you to have fun and I want you to learn. I had some of the best coaches. Like, like lifelong. They were like family, and they were coaches. I learned life. I learned, how to talk to girls. What to say to girls, and I learned a lot from my football coaches.
But it's not like that anymore. I mean,
No,
the teaching our children is just gone by the wayside now.
Yep.
You really can't say anything to them, period, because they don't want you saying boo. And you go home and say, hey, mom, Mr. Jabron said boo to me. And then the next thing you know, they at your doorstep because they thinking that you said something inappropriate to their child, knowing that you didn't. But my whole thing is, nobody wants to, when they see that stuff get out of control, I'm telling you, I have seen parking lots packed with parents. I mean, just overly crowded. When I was working, they couldn't get me to work a detail at one of those games. Ain't no way I'm working a detail because it's thousands of crazy parents and you got 1 or 2 police officers. I'm not working it.
it's worse than working the club.
Like that. Yeah, because it's a big old huge sports club. And I'm not about to be a part of it because somebody would have got hurt with me because there's too many people and then you're out here fighting because your child or the other team is not winning. And then you get mad. And then when your child make a mistake, here's another issue I have. When your child make a mistake, you want to grab on the helmet and shake the helmet and ask them, why didn't they do this? And why? How do you think you talk about trauma? You getting trauma from the coach,
The mama.
trauma out on the field with them other babies, because ain't no telling what all they're saying.
Yep.
And you getting trauma from your own daddy and uncles and cousins or whoever else watching. Do they not understand the mental stress that puts on a child when they put that uniform on? I don't think they do.
Nope. It can break their spirit, break their soul. Rejection. I don't even want to play no more. And then if the kid think that, well, I can't say I want to quit because it's gonna be worse on me.
Yep. Then they're gonna be talking about them bad, calling them names because they quit, because they chose to quit. They're gonna be like, "You're a quitter." Can you imagine growing up your life and during your whole life or a portion of your life being called a quitter because you didn't want to play the sport that you felt that was either dangerous to you or was gonna cause you harm or some of the stuff that you saw in the parking lot take place? Who wants to do that?
It can lead into depression. That stuff will lead right, and then especially with social media now, they
Oh my
they
Lord.
get on social media and TikTok and talk about you, and you reading all these comments, and then it's like now the suicide rate is high.
It is.
And
And
now, and that takes away the outlet that these kids have because a lot of kids don't even have they call them extracurricular activities when we were in school. They don't even have any outlet at all. I can't do anything right. I
nope.
can't make my mama happy, my daddy, he mad, the coach, I done did something wrong. Now my peers, it's never ending. It makes you just say, I don't even want to be involved. But that's not good because our children need to be involved in different types of sports because it teaches them fundamentals and the basics of dealing with people in life from all walks of life.
It's supposed to.
Right. Not that it does. I mean,
supposed-
because if you teach a child love, and at the end of the day, if not only teach them, but show them what love is, I can guarantee you whatever's going on out there on that football field or out there on that basketball court, tennis court, whatever they're doing, hockey, whatever, volleyball, they're going to express that because they're being showed that. But when they're not seeing that, guess what they're going to do? They're going to go out there and take a dirty shot.
Yep.
They're going to hit them below the belt.
Yep.
They're going to try to take their legs out from under them.
Yep.
They're only repeating what they are seeing from their own parents.
Yep.
And then you wonder why they act the way they do. Well, you don't have to wonder why they act the way they do because you're doing it in front of them.
Yep. Yep. And then that translates from the football, from the household to the football field to the school to it's just what they say, a village. It takes a village to raise a child. Ain't no coaches in the villages no more.
Nope. Well, heck, the question is, where's the village?
Ain't
Where the
no
village? The village is burnt down.
The village gone. And I said, it's always, we talk about the village and we talk about, what we should do as our own race, but we're the first ones to do the very opposite of what we are saying they should be doing. You know, the things that you should be fighting for, you don't fight for them. You know, you should be fighting for a kid's education. You should be fighting for better facilities for your child to play at. You know, you should be fighting for those things, but instead you want to fight at a freaking little league game and shoot somebody and take their life. Now you can't even do nothing for your own kid because you done committed a violation that was just so deadly. Now you can't even enjoy it. But that's we do that, which is so dumb to me.
And you got a field. Now you have a field full of little kids that are traumatized, that probably don't never want to play sports again. And they sat there and watched a coach shoot another coach. They sat there and watched a murder happen in front of their 7, 8-year-old eyes. Now they might not be able to sleep. Or now, Mom, I don't want to play no more. Every time they ride past a football field, they think about Uncle Coach. I think Coach Steve got shot and killed. You know, that lifelong trauma because you mad. See, that field was full of kids, still had their helmets and shoulder pads on.
And which is crazy. And then that's another thing, you know, like you said, trauma. They'll make the kid go home, sit down with the helmet and the whole uniform on because they think that's a form of punishment.
That's crazy.
Why would you do that? No, you sit there until you figure out what you did wrong, and then you can take the uniform off.
It's
Don't
so
take
much.
it out until I tell you to take it out.
There's so much unhealthy parenting because we have parents who have been parented unhealthy, and so the behaviors have continued through generations. And so it's sad because, you know, we're in a time now like you really can't say too much because you like, shoot, I ain't trying to get shot up. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't trying to get stabbed up, even though I know what the right thing to do is. Like I'm gonna be outnumbered. It's like the right thing to do now. You're outnumbered and doing the right thing.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so it's gonna cost you something nowadays to try to do the right thing.
It's gonna cost you a lot. And it's the thing about it is it may cost you to lose your child at some point along the way. Because the respect from your child, it could cause you to lose because your child may not respect you anymore after seeing that, after going through that, after watching that, after dealing with that. At some point in time, they may lose that respect for you because the trauma that they had to fool with and deal with growing up, which is crazy to me. But I'm gonna say it again. I've only seen it happen in our culture, which is crazy.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you and I know, like you said, brother, they didn't grow up that way. They didn't have those kind of coaches. You know, it was a village back then. You know, it was Miss Smith telling, you know, my mama. It was Miss Jones telling my mama, you know, what was going on with her kids. But it's not like that anymore. They're not stepping in to do jack diddly squat.
And the kids suffer. These kids suffer for the lack of knowledge of the parents and these grown people. These babies is out here suffering.
Yep. And it's a shame. And it's sad to see. I mean, it is so sad to see because imagine a kid walking on the football field with his head down, whole uniform on, helmet and all, and their head hanging down. They're not walking to look at their feet to see where they're going. They're walking because they're embarrassed and ashamed of what their dad just did. I mean, woo, baby. Yep. You know, it's just like, it is crazy.
And they got to ride home with that.
Yes.
Go to sleep with that. Wake up with that. Yep. And with social media, with stuff going on, everybody's pulling their phone out. So that kid can look on whatever and see it. It might be on the news. Like it's like it'll never go away.
Ever. Which is a shame.
It's really terrible because it's nothing. It's not okay. There was a lesson in this. It was terrible. Let's move on. It's the constant reminder that this madness and this chaos has happened, you got to keep running it back for me. Like, what kid, what person needs that?
Right.
And it'll carry them into the teenagehood and adulthood. It's like, oh yeah, your daddy was the one who shot that coach at that game.
Yep.
He's 19, 20 years old. Yeah, I remember you. Your dad shot. It's like you can't run from it.
You can't, because and don't think they don't know. Don't think it ain't gonna be said. Don't think they're not gonna remember it, because they'll remember every bad. They'll remember the bad before they remember the good. I mean, and they will. They'll remember the bad before they remember the good, because I can't see cursing my child out because they missed a tackle or they didn't shoot the ball, and you fussing and carrying on. Why you didn't do this? And I just, that's baffling to me. I just can't do it. It's everything in me to see a parent do that to their child and then not step in and say, oh, just he'll be all right. It's okay. Let's tell him he'll get the next one. It's hard.
It's just a game. It's all about fun. It's all about learning lessons. Don't take it personal. There'll be 1,000 more games. Your kid is only 6 years old. Baby, it's okay.
That's the thing. But then too, you step in and say something. Who are you to tell me what I need to do to my child or how to raise my child? Now it becomes a problem. And this is where the fights come in.
Now I'm about to go pop the trunk, Now you done said something. I got to pop the trunk.
Yep. I got to bring it out, the heater and everything else, the kit and caboodle, because you done stepped in somewhere you ain't had no business stepping in. And now your kid is standing there watching you, listening to you, some stranger or somebody taking up for your child. And now you want to go beat them up and kill them because they're trying to take up for your child. Who does that? Where's the lesson in that? Where is the lesson in that? There's no lesson in that. I can't. Ooh, that just irks me. Ooh, I'm telling y'all, I see it. I've seen it too much, and it's like, you jump at me, you jump fly at me, I'm gonna jump fly back at you, because I ain't gonna be scared.
The sad thing is, it's just became the norm. It is the norm now. It's to be expected now, which is really pitiful.
It's crazy. It's ridiculous, and I feel my heart goes out to these kids.
Yes.
I had a kid today just crying for no reason. I don't even know why he was crying. It wasn't even none of my business. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? It ain't that bad. It's gonna be all right. The end of the day and blah 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 blah. Give me a high five. And I'll see you tomorrow. So it's kind of like you got to make them feel good, even in a bad situation. You got to make them feel good. But parents these days, they not doing it.
They're not building into the kid. They're not encouraging. When we grew up, we got whoopings, right? We got whoopings. My mom and my dad, I'm pretty sure I probably should have got more than what I got.
Yeah, you should have.
But we got whoopings, but I also but I also got a lot of encouragement. I got a lot of pats on the backs. I got a lot of it's gonna be okays. I got a lot of don't worry about it. You missed it this time, get it next time.
Right.
So, with these kids out here playing these sports, these kids, I couldn't, I sit and I think, and I'm like, man, will I be able to survive in this era of cell phone? It's like they have so much on them, and then to have it at home and to play a sport and you look in the stands and you see your mama wailing on somebody and she running out on the field or wailing on the coach or the referee, and you just got to stand there
and watch.
Oh my God.
And watch it. Because
that was your mama. That was your mama. After like that,
yes, embarrassing. That is disbelief and totally embarrassing and like you said, suicide amongst our children is high. And here's the deal. Nobody ever would have thought that the suicide with Black kids has gone up into the percentage that it is now. And it's not just because of the living and where they are, but can you imagine living in a household where you can't never do nothing right? You walk in the door, it ain't right. You walk in the door, you got to clean up. You walk in the door, you got to sit the younger kids until your mama get back. And then you walk in the door, everybody drunk and everybody else. Do you not know how can a kid go out there and focus, playing a sport, and then turn around to see the parent fighting in the parking lot or fighting in the stands? Who does that? Only our culture does that. And I don't know if it's going to ever go away. I don't think it's going to ever be back to somewhat normal, because money has taken a hold of the people that's betting on this and don't have no money. That's another issue. You ain't even got food. That's these babies go to school to eat. And you trying to bet on a game when you need to be putting food on the table.
Yes. The priorities have changed. There's no order to the priorities.
Instead of you having a pom-pom, you got a beer can, you got a beer, or well, they say this kombucha, folks. This kombucha. Instead of
you got you a red Solo cup. You know what I'm saying?
You got a Solo cup
red Solo cup filled up.
walking around the parking lot, and a cigarette or whatever. What do you think that's doing to a child? That's my whole point. They don't get it.
They're not thinking. That's the thing. It's the selfishness. I grew up in an era where your parents sacrificed so much for you. You were so grateful. Now, kids expect this. There's no gratefulness from kids at all. They expect you to do this. They expect you to do that. You're supposed to do this. There's no gratefulness at all.
And first of all, too, they're not teaching them to be grateful and thankful. They're not teaching them to do that. Instead, what I see is they are buying them the phones. They are allowing them to be in the house and don't go to bed and stay outside and hang out. They're allowing them to do that. So they're not teaching them the gratefulness of what you don't have. Instead, they're teaching them the gratefulness of, here, let me give you what? Okay. And then the baby cursing you out because they ain't got the phone that you didn't buy them. Who does that? Who does that? Parents these days. And unfortunately, once again, it's our culture. We'll buy some darn Jordans. We'll buy Jordans.
It's our people. Absolutely. I went to a little league football game one time. You would have thought it was a Super Bowl. Now you would have thought that the Bengals was playing the Rams. They had speakers, intros, speakers, and it was almost like a VIP section over here, and this section over here they smoking weed, and this section over here is like they charging you $10 to come into a little league football game. Like, when did you? What? Like, when do we start paying for little league football games?
Yep.
You got the parents screaming and hollering. I was just so uncomfortable. We gotta go. Something about to go down. You had that feeling like something is about to go down.
And I'm not about to be a part of it.
Right. I know I ain't. And then another thing is even from the little league up to high school, when these kids are now playing high school, the unfortunate piece, our babies don't get the opportunity to play under the lights like most teams play under the lights. They don't get that. We played, where I didn't play, but the games were played under the lights. Now you can't even play a football game with the urban schools. You can't play them under the lights because they don't know how to act. They don't know how to come out and hang out and go home.
Yeah, and that was
the game during the daytime.
Under the lights is a big deal, especially for I know that I coached cheerleading at Don Community High School here in Cincinnati, and Jabron was the football coach, and that was like a culture shock for these kids. Like, it was a big deal for them to be like out at a game at nighttime with the lights on. Like, it was like a newborn baby opening their eyes for the first time.
Absolutely.
They were wow. They were like outdone,
They couldn't believe it. So that week we were trying to prepare them. Like, hey, it's a Friday night game. There's going to be a band out there. It's going to be, and then You know, when we got there, it was daylight, but when we went to the locker room, when we came out, they all just looked up. Everybody was just walking and looked up because they had never experienced that before. Because all, like you said, all of their games is on Saturday early. They do them Saturday early where they know people might have to be at work, or they
Yep.
might slide in a Wednesday
Yep.
night game, Wednesday game, because they know the kids are in school or something, they can't get
Yep.
there. And now I heard that one school, I can't remember what school it was here, 18 and under, you have to be accompanied by an adult.
Yep. Yep. They're getting back. It's going back to that because they can't control how they act. But once again, that comes from
The house.
the house, how you was raised, because you don't go out acting a fool
Nope.
when you're not at home.
No.
Because that's
And
not what I
you-
taught you.
Yep, and old school parents, you were taught when you outside this house, you represent me. You
Yep.
represent us. So it better be positive that I'm getting back, not nothing negative. Whereas now, the parents, they act like they the same age as their child,
Yep.
and they partying and they smoking weed with them, and it's so out of control. It's ridiculous.
It just don't make no sense.
But we
And
have blown it for ourselves with the Friday Night Lights. We have
Yep.
blown it for ourselves because of fights. Parents is dropping kids off to fight somebody.
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
they're part of the problem.
And that's the thing. You just said it. Who takes a child to the darn amusement park? Or to the mall to fight? Who does that? Our culture only. Ours only. And can you imagine? That's why they can't have no games at night, because they have it's gotten so out of control. I'm telling you, these urban schools are now playing games at like 2:00 in the afternoon on Saturdays. And the kids are losing out and missing out, and I feel bad for them because they don't get to experience that under the light kind of feeling in the they don't get that anymore. It's just done. But
Walking out of the locker room, and they don't it's we, like you said, that home life. These that home life, you got a mom encouraging a kid. You know, if somebody coach say something, the referee say something, you better do something. If you don't,
Yep.
I'm gonna come out of the stands and do something. So now this kid is under pressure. I gotta do something, or my mom is going, or my dad is gonna come out in the stands, and he stands and either get the coach or get the referee. It is not what it used to be.
Nope, it is not. Let's go even the bands. I mean, you can have the battle of the bands. That's the same thing. It's like you want to get everybody, you can't do nothing because everybody jumping and hollering because of the battle of the bands. So it's just gotten out of control. And then I don't know if we're going to ever be able to get it back to where it needs to be. I mean, can we get it back to that? I don't think so.
In order to get it back to that, we got to get these households back under control. You gotta get your house together. Get back to God.
Bam.
Amen.
Stop making excuses.
Amen. Get back to God. Get these men back in these homes. Let's stop emasculating these men. Making them feminine.
Exactly.
It's just a whole. It's a whole lot. It all goes together. You can't have one without the other.
I never knew of a generation. I never thought I'd see a generation where it was okay, where the groups, it's okay for a dude to beat up a girl or fight a girl or shoot a girl. I never thought I'd see that.
Well, welcome to the jungle. Not the Bengals jungle either.
Literally.
Welcome to the jungle, because now it's just so out of control that I don't know. I don't think it'll ever come back. But the only thing that we have to do and continue to do is pray for the babies and pray for the households. We definitely got to continue to pray for the babies. So, with that being said, y'all know what time it is. It's time that we come to the end of this thing.
That's right. Positive quotes.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say I appreciate y'all for allowing me to join y'all on this beautiful wind down Wednesday.
Yes, yes. You know, we knew you would know what you're talking about when it came to sports. So, you know, we had to bring somebody in because, you know, the whole thing about it is too, a lot of women don't know sports. A lot of women, the moms don't have a clue of what's going on. Sometimes they drop their kid off or, you know, expect the dad to do it or Uncle Joe to do it, but they have no clue about what's going on. So we appreciate you for coming on and enlightening us about, you know, what's going on with these darn pee-wee football games. I ain't going. Thank God ain't
Terrible.
no child that age and
Yeah,
no
yes. I can't.
I wouldn't even work them. That's how bad it was back then. And I know it's probably even double and
Work 30
triple
times
now.
work now. Oh yeah. So thank you for all our viewers for tuning in globally, but this is our time of the show where we give our positive quote. So you got a positive quote for us?
Yeah, what you got?
I do have a positive quote. No matter what you do, keep God first. That's it. No matter what you do, keep Him first.
Period.
Love it. Love it. Okay, so mine is gonna be love always wins. Love always wins. So do your best, as tough as it may be, as bad as you may want to choke somebody out. Try to love that person. Try to love them through it. Because love is the answer to all things.
Yes, it is. Keep, you know, because without God, there is no love. You know, so you gotta love each other and one another and keep God first and show them. Don't just tell them, show them that you love them, express it, you know, give them a hug, give them a kiss. Sometimes you don't even have to say one word, but just remember, God is love, and we want you to love everybody. And with that being said, positive in, positive out, and it's always better to give than it is to receive. And we gonna see you next week.